Part 12. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 113. Chapter 113 Linziru's Countermeasures, 480+. Linziru was surrounded by several people and did not dare to talk back. She sent the letter to the report box at her work unit yesterday, but she heard that the person who reported the report would not be disclosed. If she knew that someone was telling her, Linziru would not go to the police, file a complaint. Although she was not popular in the educated youth circles before, at least she didn't break up with her. Even if you say small things behind your back or be lazy, it's not a big deal. I. Linziru wanted to quibble, but since so many people knew it, she couldn't quibble. She pushed Yeziofen away, ran back to her room, and locked the door. Huang Jingli is repairing clothes. She has no new clothes. They are all old clothes that she has mended for the winter. Why are you in such a panic? Huang Jingli asked curiously, biting the thread, very puzzled. Except for eating quickly, Linziru does everything else slowly. Linziru said nothing, trembling all over. From the attitude of the educated youth, she could already imagine what kind of situation she would have in Kijia village in the future. What's wrong with you? Huang Jingli asked again, put down the needle and thread in her hand, walked up and touched Linziru's forehead. Linziru shrank back, avoiding Huang Jingli's touch, and said, "Don't touch me." Huang Jingli was startled and didn't know why. Since Linziru didn't say anything, Huang Jingli didn't ask any more. I don't know what this aunt is holding in her heart. If she were here, she would be an eyesore to Linziru, so she had better go out and hide away. Huang Jingli wants to go out to cook and doesn't want to stay with the nervous Linziru. Don't open the door, Linziru scolded. I told you not to open the door, do you hear me? Huang Jingli was so frightened that she backed away repeatedly. The more Linziru refused to let her open the door, the more frightened Huang Jingli became. Worried that Linziru was going crazy, she quickly opened the door and ran out. Get out, get out, get out of here, Linziru cursed loudly, get out, don't come back if you can. Huang Jingli turned pale with fright and looked at Sister Wu in the yard. Wang Lei and others stammered and asked, what's wrong? What happened? Linziru exposed that He Tian and the postman Niu Dajin were having an affair. The county unit sent people to arrest He Tian. If it weren't for village chief Chi, He Tian would have been arrested, Sister Wu said, then we all know what kind of person He Tian is. Besides, Niu Dajin gave He Tian a ride on his bicycle a few times, and then accused him of being promiscuous and engaging in male-female relations. He was obviously making false accusations out of thin air, and he had evil intentions. What a good person! Huang Jingli was stunned and shocked. Linziru really sent the report letter. But how did Sister Wu and the others know that it was Linziru who sent it away? Are you sure it was written by Linziru? Huang Jingli asked the question in her heart. Didn't it mean that the whistleblower's information would not be disclosed? That Thursday, Zhou Hai said it in front of everyone, and now everyone in the village knows it. You have to be careful in the future. If you get so close to Linziru, you will suffer a big loss sooner or later, Sister Wu said. Her voice was loud, and she was not afraid of the people in the house. Linziru heard it. Huang Jingli became even more frightened when she heard this. If Lin Xiao could report He Tian, he could report her parentage. His face became even uglier, his legs became weak, and he didn't know what to do for a moment. Yeah, we won't dare to talk to Linziru in the future, Yeziofen agreed. This Linziru is a poisonous person, so be careful. At this moment, Zhao Dejiao came and asked, where is Linziru? Sister Wu, Yeziofen went to the kitchen to cook, and Huang Jingli was the only one in the yard. Huang Jingli trembled when she saw Director Zhao, and stammered, in the room. Then you come in with me. I have something to say to Linziru, Director Zhao said. I want to see what Linziru says. Huang Jingli followed Director Zhao into the house. Director Zhao glanced at Linziru with disdain and said, Linziru, Village Chief Qi said that we will set off at 2 o'clock in the night to go to the unit together to confront He Tiantian and Niu Daijin. If you don't go, you will be guilty of false reporting. To be punished. Linziru became even more frightened after hearing this, but after thinking about it just now, she had already thought of a countermeasure. That means resolutely not admitting her mistake. If she does, she will be punished. If you don't admit your mistake, you can at most say that the content of the report is not consistent after verification, and you will never admit that you deliberately slandered people. He Tiantian was sitting in the back seat of Niu Daijin's car. In their hometown, they could only do this to hook up with someone, so they reported it to prevent He Tianation's behavior from affecting the style of all educated youths in Kijia village. She, Linziru, just had good intentions, not something out of thin air. Director Zhao, I'll go with you. Linziru narrowed her eyes and said, I will never back down. I also want to protect the style of young people in the city. Director Zhao was stunned. Linziru was also a talented person. When something like this happened, she thought that Linziru had no face to see people. Unexpectedly, she was still very calm. Now that you know, don't be late, Director Zhao said. It's up to you to decide what will happen tomorrow, so there's no need for her to waste words here. Yes, Director Zhao, Linziru said calmly. After finding the method, she was no longer afraid. After Director Zhao left, Huang Jingli asked in a low voice, Ziru, why did you report He Tiantian? She didn't offend you. We are fellow villagers, and she also gave us wild dates, wild vegetables, and hares. You all forget. Linziru looked at Huang Jingli with disdain and said with disdain, it's not for me alone. With so many people, I can only eat as much as I want. Be careful, I can repay He Tiantian, and I can also repay you. If you don't listen to me, haha, I will make you even worse than He Tiantian. What Huang Jingli feared most was Linziru's threat, and she was so frightened that she could not speak. Seeing that Huang Jingli was frightened, Linziru felt proud and felt a sense of abnormal pleasure. She squinted her slender eyes and said with a smile, He Tiantian is so powerful. He has good popularity in the village. Qi. The village chief, Director Zhao, and other villagers are all helping He Tiantian. But you are no better than me, so if you are not honest, I will definitely make you regret it. No. No. I will be obedient. Huang Jingli trembled. This Linziru was a vicious villain. She couldn't resist for the time being and could only endure the humiliation. She would definitely take revenge in the future. Huang Jingli secretly made up her mind. Linziru. You think you are smart enough to bully me. But I, Huang Jingli, am not someone to be bullied. I used to be patient because I thought you would restrain yourself, but I was wrong. My tolerance would only make you more greedy. What happened to He Tiantian reminded me that I can't be merciful to you anymore. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 114. Chapter 114 Revenge, Care, 500 plus. The cowardly Huang Jingli did not dare to speak in front of Linziru and was very meek. Just the anger and shame in Huang Jingli's heart were enough to motivate her to take revenge on the snake blood beauty in front of her. Linziru was very satisfied with Huang Jingli's calmness and said, hurry up and cook. After you finish eating, I will go to the county unit to argue with them. She, Linziru, is so smart that she can solve all difficulties, and this time is no exception. Oh, I'll cook right away, Huang Jingli agreed. As for what Linziru would do, she didn't want to know. Humph, Linziru turned her head away, not looking at Huang Jingli's cowardly look. After eating, Linziru said, you go with me. Me? Huang Jingli, who was clearing away the dishes, almost threw away the dishes in her hand. What am I going to do? You also know that I'm stupid. I know you are the stupidest, so I don't need you to put in a good word for me. You just need to say that we have a custom where two unmarried young men and women on a bicycle are having sex. Lin Xiru said, you follow this, that's all I said, no need to say anything else. Huang Jingli said blankly, there are also brothers and sisters. You idiot. Of course I'm not talking about brother and sister, Lin Xiru said, when the time comes, don't say too much, just do what I say. If you talk too much, I will report your parentage. Get out and let yourself be dragged out and tortured. Oh, oh, Huang Jingli nodded in agreement and went out with the bowls and chopsticks. Although Huang Jingli is still angry now, she feels secretly happy at the same time. Even if Lin Xiru escapes punishment this time, her reputation in Kijia village will be ruined. If Lin Xiru wants to change the situation, he will definitely do something unexpected. Then, maybe it will be her chance. She wanted to pay back the humiliation she received from Lin Xiru twice as much and let her know what it felt like to be threatened. Let's say that He Tian compiled all the valid certificates and letters received from home. These are all evidence. Lin Xiru, you should never provoke me, He Tian. Even if I can't punish you this time, I will make you notorious in Kijia village and make it difficult for you to gain a foothold. In the middle of the night, Grandma Chi-san boiled more than 20 eggs for He Tian, baked a basket of pancakes, put them in the basket and said, everyone has been traveling at night and is probably very tired. Please take these things with you and treat everyone to some. He Tian's eyes were hot, and she was reluctant to eat eggs. She took them to the supply and marketing cooperative to sell them in exchange for some oil and salt. This time Grandma Chi boiled all the eggs at home for her. Grandma Chi. He Tian finally couldn't help it and cried out. Grandma Chi-san stretched out her hand, wiped He Tian's tears with a handkerchief, and said, don't cry, sweet girl. Grandma Chi-san can't help with anything else, so she can only make this for you. There is no obstacle that cannot be overcome. Son, and everyone is very clear-minded and will help you. Besides, you were specially prepared for it when you went home last time, so maybe it's not a bad thing to take it easy and it will get over. He Tian sniffed and said, thank you, Grandma Chi, you are right. The sooner things happen, the sooner I can feel at ease. By the way, it's good if you can think like this. Grandma Chi-san smiled, cheer up. By the way, the emperor is not short of hungry soldiers. I still have some money here. When we arrive, the county invites everyone to eat, so you can't let everyone go hungry to do things for you. No, Grandma Chi, I have money. My parents gave me a lot when I went home this time, He Tian said. Not only did she have the money she spent as an educated youth, she also had money from her parents and Huo Yingjia. There was even a gift from Huo Yingjia's parents, which cost more than 100 yuan, and the food stamps also weighed dozens of kilograms. Grandma Chi-san touched He Tian's head lovingly and said with a smile, your parents have already said that they agree that you will accept me as your godmother. My granddaughter is in trouble, and I can't help, so I can't contribute any money. If you take it, if you don't take it, you don't treat me as a grandma. When He Tian saw Grandma Chi-san saying this, if she refused, Grandma Chi would definitely be disappointed. Just take it. When the matter is resolved, return the money to Grandma Chi. I also recognized Grandma Chi before. I will be filial to Grandma Chi in the future and repay Grandma Chi's kindness. Okay, then I'll take it, He Tian said. If you can't use it all, I'll give it back to you. Seeing He Tian accepted it, Grandma Chi-san was happy and said happily, that's right. The world is big and you can travel all over the world without fear. He Tian nodded and said, I'm not afraid. When it was past 1 o'clock, everyone came to the door of Secretary Chi's house one after another. There were 4 ox carts, which could fit more than 20 people in a squeeze. Linziru arrived very early, climbed directly onto a bullock cart and sat on it. She was worried that she would go to school late and others would not let her go, so she would have to walk to the county seat. In view of Linziru's ability to confuse right and wrong, he Tian gave the cakes and baskets to Chi Xiaoyan and asked Chi Xiaoyan to help distribute them to everyone. After everyone ate cakes and eggs, they had something in their stomachs and didn't feel sleepy anymore. Chi Xiaoyan is usually very generous, but today she was particularly stingy. She didn't give anything to Linziru or Huang Jingli. "I don't want to eat those disgusting things," Linziru muttered. "I have money, let's go to a restaurant when we get to the county seat." It was very dark, and a dozen torches were lit, illuminating the road very brightly. The speed of the ox cart is only a little slower than during the day, but it can still reach the county seat before dawn. The army of cattle followed the cattle cart, not daring to ride fast and following slowly. "Xiao Yaner, are you cold?" Niu Daijin took out the military kettle he usually used. "There is hot water in it. You can use it to warm your hands." Chi Xiaoyan took the kettle handed over by Niu Daijin. Her hands were warm and she was excited, saying, "Thank you, brother Daijin." "You girls should keep warm," Niu Daijin chuckled. "Cover yourself with the mattress and don't freeze." He Tian looked at the interaction between Niu Daijin and Chi Xiaoyan with a half smile. Niu Daijin smiled coquettishly, not daring to look at He Tian's probing eyes. Chi Xiaoyan kept her head down, silent, and her heart beat faster, afraid of what He Tian would ask. Chi Xiaoyan herself didn't know very well and didn't know what to say. She prayed to He Tian not to ask, at least not to ask under such circumstances. He Tian knew that there were many things going on today, and this was not the time to ask about this matter. Furthermore, as long as Chi Xiaoyan is not with Li Mingkai's Chen Shimei, others, He Tian, will not block Chi Xiaoyan's chance to get along with him. The ox cart swayed for several hours, and finally arrived at the county seat at around 7 o'clock. He Tian secretly gave Secretary Chi 20 yuan and 6 pounds of food stamps and asked him to treat everyone to dinner. Village Chief Chi did not refuse. With so many people, poor food would also affect the prestige of his village party secretary. Even if no one pays, he will treat everyone to dinner. Monthly pass is 500 plus, monthly pass at 6 o'clock is 520 plus. Asking for votes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 115. Chapter 115 Serious, Disgusting, 520 plus. Niu Daijin did not eat with the big guys, but went directly to the work unit to find his uncle. Niu Daijin's uncle has a very interesting name. His surname is Niu and his given name is Peng, which means day pen spreading its wings. But when everyone hears it for the first time, they hear it as a bullpen. "Oh, you are doing a good deed and got yourself into trouble." Niu Peng heard his nephew's narration, took a sip of tea, and said slowly, "Fortunately, He Tian is innocent and is not such a random girl. If otherwise, don't even think about getting rid of the relationship. By the way, tell me the truth, have you ever had a relationship with that girl? If you are a young girl or a young man, if you have a little spark, then maybe it's okay." Niu Daijin smiled bitterly and quickly explained, "Uncle, you don't know me yet, how could you do such a thing? Comrade He Tian and I are really ordinary friends. This is something that Village Chief Chi and Comrade Chi Xiaoyan can prove it. The reason why I carried He Tian on the bicycle was because of Chi Xiaoyan's request." "Is this Chi Xiaoyan Chi Rongjun's sister?" Niu Peng asked. "As long as it's not true, that's fine." He was afraid that if the relationship was cleared here, and Niu Daejin was flirting with others over there, it would be better to admit the relationship between the two directly. Yes, He Tian Tian is Xiao Yan's good friend. I'm relatively familiar with He Tian Tian. It's really nothing and there won't be any special relationship in the future, Niu Daejin explained. Uncle, you have to believe I won't lie. That's good. He Tian Tian can ask the director of the unit in Nanji to write an official letter in person so quickly. It shows that He Tianation's family is not an ordinary family. If you don't like her girl, don't give it to her. This girl should think about it, so that she won't get into trouble because of love. Niu Peng is someone who has been here before and thinks more about it. Niu Daejin doesn't have that kind of interest in He Tian Tian, but what if He Tian Tian is interested in Niu Daejin? Niu Daejin didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and said, Uncle, in your eyes, your eldest nephew and I are a talented person. He Tian Tian has a childhood sweetheart at home. It is said that he is in the Weapons Research Institute. He is a high-end talent and will not like us. Backcountry postman. That's good. Niu Peng was relieved. You don't have to worry about this matter. I told Zheng Hongjun and asked him to take care of it. As for Zhou Hai, he has been too arrogant recently. Yeah, Zhou Hai is very arrogant. Although I didn't see it with my own eyes, I heard that he actually beat Qi Xing Wang, the hero of our county. Grandpa Qi has a higher seniority in Kijia village and is still a hero. In Kijia village he is highly respected and has caused public outrage in Kijia village. Secretary Qi is probably not going to let it go. Uncle, let me tell you, you know better. It's too much, Niu Peng scolded. A young boy dares to do this to a hero. I know this. Although it is very chaotic now, in a certain respect, the mainstream values are still beautiful. That is to worship soldiers, especially those who have defended the country and sacrificed their lives and blood for the establishment of New China. Daowen County is too far away from those distant power centers, so the worship of soldiers has not been affected at all, and has even become more fervent, neglecting the old heroes and making them cottars lose face. After Niu Daejin finished talking to his uncle, he found a place to eat. When we came out, Secretary Qi and the others had not arrived at the commune yet. Everyone was worried about Niu. They rode their bicycles and found that Zhou Hai led dozens of people to surround village chief Qi. Niu Daejin knew that he could not help in the past, so he shouted from a far distance, Village Chief Qi, you should calm down, I will go to the commune to call for help. When Zhou Huerhe saw that the man was Niu Daejin, he immediately became anxious. He could immediately anger the people in Kijia village. As long as they started fighting, they could all be arrested. Secretary Qi, who was originally very nervous, heard Niu Daejin's words and said loudly, everyone sit down, sit on the ground, and I'll see if Zhou Hai dares to beat people in the street this week. Don't think that because you are wearing that kind of skin, you want to we, the people, are the ones in charge, not a despicable person like you. The spectators around and people on both sides of the street looked over. Especially after hearing what village chief Qi said, many people clapped and applauded. Zhou Hai is well known as a ruthless person in the county. Everyone is afraid of Zhou Hai. However, when he sees someone dare to resist Zhou Hai, he is very curious and wants to see why these people are not afraid of Zhou Hai. Village Chief Qi didn't let the people below him take action. Zhou Hai really couldn't arrest people on the street. After all, he didn't have any bad evidence about Kijia village, not even a letter of prosecution. Hey, I should have gotten a few letters after I came back last night. Early this morning, Zhou Huerhe and many people were on the road trying to block village chief Qi, but unexpectedly they took another road and no one was blocked at all. When they arrived at the county town, they saw Secretary Qi and his party who were almost full. Let's say that the army of cattle rode bicycles to the commune compound like lightning, and shouted loudly, on Thursday, the Kelp people beat the anti-Japanese heroes and the common people who petitioned. When the people in the commune heard this, they were immediately shocked. There must be no major mass incidents in Daowen County. Niu Peng quickly organized people to check, and County Magistrate Lu was also shocked. Niu Peng had just told him the whole story. If it gets too big, it will be a very serious mass incident. If you don't handle it well, the black hat on your head will not be protected. Passing by the entrance of the commune, County Magistrate Lu said, "Director Zheng, Zhou Hai got into trouble. If you don't go, our entire unit will probably be finished." They were all colleagues in the same unit. Zheng Hongjun knew that County Magistrate Lu was a steady person and would not say such things unless there was no big deal. "If you are so impatient now, things are probably serious." "What happened?" Director Zheng asked loudly, putting on his clothes and walking out with County Magistrate Lu. "I don't have any tasks these days." Niu Peng followed and said, "I am to blame for this matter. This morning my nephew Niu Daijin came to the commune and told me that yesterday Zhou Hai took 2 reporting letters and went to arrest Comrade He Tian, a model worker. People asked he wanted evidence, but apart from the report letter, he had no witnesses or material evidence. If he could not produce any other evidence, the villagers would not allow Zhou Hai to arrest him. After all, Comrade He Tian was still a little girl and he responded to the call at such a young age. He came to the countryside to support rural construction and has a high ideological consciousness. He is a good comrade. He cannot be treated so rudely. Not only that, he also beat Qi Xingwang, a famous old hero here." Niu Peng briefly introduced the whole story. Since it was released, 53 chapters have been updated in 9 days, an average of 6 chapters a day, which is so tiring. Kikai wants to rest for a few days. Starting from tomorrow, there will be 3 updates from Monday to Friday. The basic 2 will be at 7 a.m. and 12 a.m., and the additional update for the afternoon monthly pass will be at 6 p.m. on weekends. There will be an additional update. Thank you for your support. If you like this book, please support Kikai and vote for Kikai. Kikai will work harder to write better stories and give back to everyone. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 116. After hearing what Niu Peng said, Zheng Hongjun was slightly startled. He Tian, Zheng Hongjun was slightly puzzled, as if he had heard this name somewhere. It was just that he was old and couldn't remember where he had heard it for a while. Niu Peng reminded, "The day before yesterday, you went to the city for a meeting and brought back some documents, including a letter about Comrade He Tian. Niu Peng is also a staff member here, and one of his responsibilities is to sort out the official documents. The reason for this is that Niu Peng is a high school student of the 3rd class, with a high degree of education and the ability to handle it. Zheng Hongjun does not have such knowledge. He used to be a village party secretary and got promoted by chance. However, he became the director of a county unit by his personal ability alone, which is not an ordinary person." After hearing Niu Peng's explanation, Zheng Hongjun was scared and broke into a cold sweat. If he didn't handle it well, he couldn't explain it to the leaders in the city. Director Zheng took the lead and ran in front, cursing in his heart, "Zhou Sihai, you bastard! It can be seen that He Tian has someone behind her. It is not an ordinary person to let the Nanchi unit issue such an official letter. Zhou Sihai, you bastard, if you want to mess with someone, you have to check it out before you do it." The day before yesterday, he went to the unit, and Director Liao of the Hawaii City unit solemnly told him that this was a very important document, and he should not let a borer go, but he would not wrongly accuse a good person. He Tian is a good comrade and should be protected. The direct leader said it so clearly, if he still can't understand what he meant, he can hit the wall and die. Originally, he wanted to explain it in a meeting yesterday, but he had something at home, so he asked for leave. As a result, Zhou Sihai actually took people to Kijia village to cause trouble for He Tian. That's not all, he also beat up the local old hero. This kid is looking for death. If you want to die, don't drag me with you. Lu Dehai, Niu Peng, Director Zheng, and other staff members ran to the carport, rode their bicycles and followed Niu Daijin. Niu Daijin is a postman, young and strong, and the bicycle is like a wind and fire wheel. The leaders behind can't catch up at all. But at this time, no one complained that Niu Daijin rode too fast, but only hated himself for riding too slowly. Zhou Sihai was confronting with village chief Qi, and when the conflict was about to become heated, a group of people finally arrived. Zheng Hongjun didn't have time to stop the car, so he let the car fall to the ground and ran over. Damn it! If there weren't so many people around, Zheng Hongjun would probably slap Zhou Sihai a few times like the Imperial Army in the TV series, and then say Baga, dead dead. Shut up, Zhou Sihai, you are suspended from now on. If you have anything, go back to the unit and talk about it, Zheng Hongjun said angrily. Village Chief Qi, I'm sorry, I didn't control my subordinates strictly, and let everyone suffer. The street is not the time to deal with things, let's go to the unit. Our purpose is not to let a bad comrade go, but at the same time we will not wrongly accuse any good person. Zhou Sihai heard what Director Zheng said, and he immediately suspended his position. Without the position of a unit official, he is nothing, just an ordinary person. For a moment, his brain was not working, his face was pale, and his hands and feet were cold. Secretary Qi saw that the situation today was very good. Director Zheng, we will go back with you, you must give us justice. My uncle's chest still hurts now, Secretary Qi said that Zhou Sihai must suffer the consequences today. Director Zheng saw a gray-haired old man sitting on the ox cart, and hurried forward and said respectfully, Old man, I'm sorry for you, let's go, we will give everyone justice. He Tiantian and Qi Xiaoyan looked at each other on the side, this situation has turned around too much. Okay, we believe in the organization, old man Qi said solemnly, don't stand there, follow Director Zheng. Lu Dehai saw that Director Zheng had come out and had appeased the villagers who were on edge. He wiped the sweat from his forehead. Today's matter can be settled, and there is no need to worry about the black hat on his head. No matter how big the matter is, everyone should talk slowly behind closed doors. Don't talk about it outside, it will have a bad impact. Niu Peng and Lu Dehai invited everyone to go to the unit and went directly to the conference room instead of the interrogation room. From this attitude, we can see the importance of the unit. Lin Xiaoru, who witnessed all this, was even more scared. It was really a loss. This time, she fell flat on her face. Xiaoru. Huang Jingli was worried. Don't talk. Just do what we said last night. If you dare to go back on your word, I will report you on the spot. Lin Xiaoru threatened. She had no way out and could only deny it to death. Huang Jingli nodded and stopped talking. In fact, Huang Jingli was so happy that she didn't have to do anything, and Lin Xiaoru fell flat on her face. It's what she deserves. Retribution came quickly. Zheng Hongjun directly asked a deputy officer next to Zhou Sihai to tell the whole story and understand the whole story. He Tian, do you have anything to say about these reports? Director Zheng discussed the matter and used the evidence as quickly as possible to understand the matter. He Tian stood up, bowed respectfully to the leaders of the unit, as well as village chief Qi, old man Qi and others, and said gracefully, Good morning, leaders and elders. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to defend myself. Regarding this, I have the following explanation for the two letters of prosecution. The first one is about overseas relations. I don't deny this. My grandfather came back from China before liberation and was a professor in the Department of Astronomy at NTU. He made many achievements and contributions in astronomy and received national commendations. Before his death, he was an astronomer with outstanding contributions and received a national subsidy every year. 8 years ago, my grandfather passed away and my parents took the initiative to review overseas relations. Cooperate with the organization's review and actively respond to the call. The review has determined that although my parents and my deceased grandfather have overseas connections, they have not collaborated with the enemy or acted as spies. This is when I returned to South China some time ago. The city, please ask the leaders to review the certificates issued by my parents and the sub-district office. He Tian personally delivered all kinds of materials to Director Zheng. Thanks to the tips from Niu Lily and Niu Dajin, she had the opportunity to visit Nanji in person and issue certificates and official letters. Director Zheng looked at it and felt even more mixed emotions in his heart. This idiot Zhou Hai didn't even know that someone was wearing an amulet. He still went to trouble others and didn't even urinate to see what kind of virtue he was. After Director Zheng read it, he forwarded it to County Magistrate Liu and Niu Peng read it. Several certificates have stamps from various units, and the dates are on the same day. It can be seen that all these things were completed within one day. Without some background, it would never be so fast. I really underestimated He Tian. The first update is the basics, and the second update is the basics at 12 o'clock. Asking for a monthly ticket. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 117. Zhou Hai was stunned. He Tian had supporting documents in his hand, but he didn't mention it yesterday. Now take them all out, a whole pile, and he has also heard it, as well as the official letter sent from Nanji. That is the most useful thing. He Tian was deliberately trying to pull him into the water, and he couldn't get away or even get up. Now Zhou Hai only hopes that Director Zheng will protect him for the sake of his hard work in the past. Director Zheng took out his official briefcase and said, "This is an official letter sent from Nanji City, proving that everything Comrade He Tian said is true. After review by the Huishi City Unit, it is indeed as stated in the official letter, so the first inspection, the letter is not true. Comrade Zhou Hai arrests people immediately without review. This is an incorrect way of working. Comrade He Tian is now asked to defend the second letter of prosecution. Director Zheng wants to lift it up high and let it fall down gently. It's just a criticism. The suspension just mentioned outside is not mentioned here. Does that mean it doesn't count?" He Tian stood up again and said, "The second letter slanders me and Niu Dajin for having promiscuous relations between men and women. Comrade Niu Dajin and I are pure friends. This is the case with Chi Village Chief Chi, and my good friend Chi Xiao Yan can testify for me. He Tian has been in Kijia village for 4 months. I can prove that there is nothing wrong with He Tianation's behavior." Secretary Chi stood up and said, then sat down again. Chi Xiao Yan also got up and said, "Niu Dajin is a comrade in arms of my second brother Chi Rongjun, and He Tian is a good friend of mine. Every time Comrade Niu Dajin comes to my house as a guest, even if I see Comrade He Tian, I am always there, and they privately. As for Niu Dajin's ride with He Tian, I can testify that the first time I sat on Niu Dajin's bicycle with Comrade He Tian, the second time was some time ago, when I was catching the train, I happened to see Niu Dajin coming to the village to deliver a message, so I asked her to take Comrade He Tian to the county seat." Director Zheng listened. From what these people said, he was sure that there was nothing between the Niu Dajin and He Tian. Since Zhou Hai has violated discipline and named the whistleblower, he will deal with it later. Now that the whistleblower Lin Ziru is also here, let's ask Comrade Lin Ziru to talk about the situation. Director Zheng has a headache. He now hopes that this matter can be resolved as soon as possible. The longer it goes on, the greater the impact. Lin Ziru stood up bravely and said, "I am also a young man from the city. My starting point is to maintain the pure style of young people in the city. In our hometown, as long as unmarried men and women are not related by blood, they can ride on a bicycle. I saw He Tian sitting on postman Niu Dajin's bicycle twice, and I thought there was a style problem between He Tian and Comrade Niu Dajin, so I wrote a letter to report. When everyone heard this, they thought that Lin Xiru came from feudal society. Total nonsense. Then do you have witnesses? Director Zheng asked. He had already punished Zhou Hai, and he had also treated He Tiantian fairly. If this Lin Xiru incident continues to side with He Tiantian, it will not look good on the face. Even if he could not help Lin Xiru openly, for the sake of the commune's face and to increase the enthusiasm of the whistleblower, he could not give him a complete blow. Otherwise, no one will report him in the future. What rights does he, the director of the unit, have? Yes, Lin Xiru was overjoyed. As long as these people let her speak, they would have a chance to be exonerated. She was afraid that they would convict her without even giving her a chance to open her mouth, and that would be the end of the world. Huang Jingli stood up tremblingly and said, Lin Xiru and I came from the same place. There is indeed such a saying in our place, as long as unmarried men and women who are not related by blood are on the same bicycle. Are all engaged in objects. Director Zheng breathed a sigh of relief. As long as there was a reason, he wrote a few lines in the notebook and said, as the saying goes, customs vary from mile to mile. You can't be so arbitrary in the future. When you come to Daowen County, just follow the customs of Daowen County, please don't make a mistake and cause unnecessary misunderstandings. I'll give you a warning first, so don't do it again. A misunderstanding set the tone for Lin Xiru's report on He Tiantian. Lin Xiru was relieved. There were still good people in the world. Director Zheng was good, and He Tiantian couldn't cover up the world with one hand. Yes, Director Zheng, I know I made a mistake. I will reflect on it. After I go back, I will write a review and remember your teachings more deeply, Lin Xiru said respectfully, bowing to Director Zheng and others. Director Zheng nodded. Although this Lin Xiru is not a good person, he knows the current affairs. This will be easier to handle. As two parties involved, what do you think of He Tiantian and Niu Dajin? Secretary Zheng smiled. Although his attitude was good, everyone could see that Director Zheng did not want to punish the whistleblower Lin Xiru. Just as He Tiantian was about to speak, Niu Dajin stood up and said, Director Zheng, Comrade He Tiantian, we are all unmarried men and unmarried women. The prosecutor Lin Xiru made an untrue report, and Zhou Hai's unreasonable arrests have had a great impact on us. The county will handle it on its own. We respect the decision of the unit and you, but Lin Xiru, Zhou Hai's behavior has caused us great reputation and psychological trauma, and we must apologize and apologize. Restore your reputation. Niu Peng didn't say anything. Anyway, as long as he was around, he would not let his nephew suffer. Although County Magistrate Liu is here, he is just cooperating. Director Zheng still needs to come forward for this kind of thing. He is not easy to talk to. Director Zheng thought for a while, looked at Zhou Hai, and Lin Xiru said, because you have brought harm to Comrade He Tiantian and Comrade Niu Dajin, you need to apologize. What do you think? Zhou Huerhe had been by Director Zheng's side for a long time and could guess Director Zheng's thoughts. He stepped forward and bowed 90 degrees, I apologize, I was wrong, please forgive me. Although Lin Xiru felt uncomfortable, if she was at this time, if you hold your neck and don't apologize, then He Tiantian, Niu Dajin will definitely not give up, and she will suffer in the end. Being aware of current affairs and being a hero, Lin Xiru stood up and bowed to He Tiantian and Niu Dajin and apologized, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Please see that I am maintaining the style of young people in the city. Please forgive me. What Lin Xiru said was so nice. He Tiantian smiled. If she did not forgive Lin Xiru, then she would not uphold the style of young people in the city. On the Zhuerhe side, Secretary Qi and Old Man Qi were there to deal with her, so she could just deal with Lin Xiru. Haha, it's important to maintain the style of young people in the city, but we must also seek truth from facts, He Tiantian said solemnly. Don't make random reports without understanding anything and bring harm to innocent people. In front of the leaders. If you want to make a self-examination, you have to do it in front of the whole village when you return to the village. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 118. Chapter 118 Justice, 540 plus monthly votes. He Tian knew that in front of Director Zheng today, no matter what, she couldn't do anything to Lin Xiru. However, He Tian couldn't let Lin Xiru be happy when she left the unit. I also forgive you, and I hope you can take care of yourself. Niu Daijin is a man. Although he is angry, he cannot continue to speak in front of so many people. Comrade Lin Xiru, what do you think? Director Zheng looked at Lin Xiru. He Tian's request was reasonable and he couldn't stop it. Although Lin Xiru's expression was sincere, in her heart, He Tian and Niu Daijin had already been torn into pieces. I'll review it, Lin Xiru gritted her teeth and said, feeling resentful in her heart. The situation is weak and we cannot go head on. He Tian, Niu Daijin, Qi Xiaoyan, just wait for me. If I don't repay today's humiliation, I won't be called Lin Xiru. This is the best way for everyone to be happy. Seeing that the two parties had reconciled, Director Zheng said, let's clear up any misunderstandings. Then I declare that these two prosecution letters are untrue. Comrade He Tian and Comrade Niu Daijin have been wronged. Obey the unit's decision, Niu Daijin said. Obey the unit's decision, He Tian followed closely. Lin Xiru was very thoughtful and solemnly said, obey the unit's decision. Okay, Director Zheng smiled, then today's matter is solved satisfactorily. In fact, everyone understood that Director Zheng wanted to make peace, but before he finished speaking, Old Man Qi stood up. Director Zheng and Director Liu, please give me justice. Old Man Qi stood up and interrupted Director Zheng. Director Zheng was stunned. Hey, what is supposed to come must come. There is a stubborn old man in Kijia village. Who in Daowen County doesn't know about it? Old Man Qi is older than everyone here, and he is a respectable hero. When everyone saw Old Man Qi standing up, they also stood up and did not dare to sit in their seats. Qi Yingxiang, if you have something to say, just sit down and say it. We are all listening, Lu Dehai said politely, you say it, you say it. Although Old Man Qi has no position, he used to have a very high position. Old Man Qi did not sit down, but pointed to his chest and said, there are 3 bullet holes here with Little Japan. I have personally killed hundreds of Japanese, and this arm was lost on the Korean battlefield. The establishment and stability of the new country are due to my Qi Xing Wang. I didn't want to be a high-ranking official, and when I returned to my hometown from my work, I just wanted to spend my old age in peace, and I never wanted to use my identity to bully others. Because I asked him a few words, he hit me and bullied me, an elderly disabled person. The more Old Man Qi talked, the more aggrieved he felt. If there weren't so many people around, he would probably shed tears. He wanted to hold it back, but he couldn't help it at this time. It just flowed out without any hope. When facing the enemy, he would rather bleed and sweat than shed tears. But today, Old Man Qi shed bitter tears. He shed tears for himself. County Magistrate Lu and Niu Peng lowered their heads one after another, not knowing what to say. It was his subordinate who was in charge of Zhou. At this time, Director Zheng felt uncomfortable and said dryly, Qi Yingxiang, I'm really sorry. It's all because of my lax command and offended you. I now solemnly apologize to you. I now announcing Zhou Hai's dismissal and investigation to serve as a warning to others. The sea will be bloodless on Thursday. If your position is suspended, you may have a chance to resume your original position if you do some exercise after a while. But if he is dismissed and investigated, he will never be as prosperous as before. Director, Zhou Hai was shocked and hoped that Director Zheng could be more lenient. In front of Old Man Qi, Director Zheng would not joke about his career. This Old Man Qi is no ordinary old man, he is a famous hero. If he is not given an explanation here and Old Man Qi sends out a letter, he will probably be dismissed from his post and investigated soon. Stop talking about your matter. I will investigate and provide evidence about your matter. You can go out now, Director Zheng said sternly, glaring at Zhou Hai. It was this person who failed to succeed but failed more than failed, which put him in such a situation today. Seeing that Director Zheng was angry on Thursday, Hai didn't dare to speak and went out in disgrace. Director Zheng smiled apologetically and said, Qi Yingxiang, look. Follow the arrangements of the unit, Old Man Qi said. Now that the matter is over, we will not disturb the leader's work. Such a scene is so embarrassing. Old Man Qi doesn't want to stay here anymore. Uncle Qi, let's have some food before we leave. Lu Dehai persuaded him to stay. It didn't matter whether Old Qi stayed or not, but he had to say this. After dinner, we will go to the hospital for a physical checkup, Director Zheng said, hoping that nothing would happen to Old Man Qi, otherwise he would not be able to get away with it in the future. Old Man Qi waved his hand and said, I won't eat. There's nothing serious about my health. It's just that my dignity has been trampled on. Old Man Qi had a very stubborn temper and walked out first. County Magistrate Lu and Director Zheng did not dare to chase Old Man Qi, so they had to hold Village Chief Qi's arm and said, I leave the old hero to you, but you must serve him well. You can't let the hero bleed, sweat and shed tears. Don't worry, leader, he is an elder in our village. We will serve him filially, Secretary Qi said. Do you have any other instructions from the leaders? If not, I have to take Uncle Qi home quickly. Lu Dehai nodded and said, No, be careful all the way. By the way, tomorrow is the time for the veteran hero allowance to be distributed. I will make the decision to distribute it in advance. You can go and get it. If you need anything, just say it and we will try our best to satisfy it. You don't know the temper of my second uncle. If he wanted more, he would have asked for it a long time ago. Why wait until now? I will just give him what he deserves. Secretary Qi refused, even though he asked for it. County Magistrate Lu will be satisfied, but it will ruin the second uncle's lifelong reputation. The old hero is so noble and upright, Lu Dehai praised, admiring him very much. Yes, Director Zheng agreed later. Niu Peng took Village Chief Qi to receive Old Man Qi's allowance. Seeing that it was getting late, Old Man Qi took the strong young men in the village to Daowen restaurant for dinner. Each person was given a large bowl of chicken noodle soup with chicken nuggets in it. He Tian was stunned. It turned out that there was such a giant Buddha in Kijia village. In her previous life, she didn't have so many things going on in Kijia village. Except for the fact that she was a miserable person who was deceived, she was always very calm. In this life, she began to flourish and inspired so many things. The one-armed old man who smiles all day is not only an anti-Japanese hero, but also a hero. The monthly ticket is 540 plus. I have been diligently coding these days and try to add more as soon as possible. Keep asking for votes. Thanks. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 119. The matter was successfully resolved today, but Qi Jiangguo was not found out. This disappoints everyone. Zhou's Huerhe is hateful, but at the same time he also takes the blame for Qi Jiangguo. Zhou Hai had already violated discipline when he publicly revealed the whistleblower Lin Ziru. Now he would not accuse Qi Jiangguo, adding to the crime. Privately, on the one hand, Qi Jiangguo has a handle on Zhou Hai, and on the other hand, Zhou Hai still wants to get benefits from Qi Jiangguo in the future. Sister Tian Tian, why are you still standing when you leave? Qi Xiaoyan reminded the stunned He Tian Tian and pulled He Tianation's clothes. He Tian Tian smiled, I didn't realize that Grandpa Qi is actually a great hero. Don't say you don't know. If I didn't come today, I wouldn't know either, Qi Xiaoyan also said with emotion. Second, Grandpa is really indifferent to fame and fortune. He Tian Tian is very grateful to Grandpa Qi, and will honor Grandpa Qi well in the future, thanking him for standing in front of her and protecting her at the critical moment. He Tian Tian took her certification documents from Niu Peng and kept them for herself, maybe she could use them in the future. As for the official letter, Niu Peng also put it away properly. With these amulets, He Tian Tian will be safe in the future as long as he does not make other mistakes. So many people came to the restaurant at once, and Niu Lily was very busy. He Tian Tian and Qi Xiaoyan came over to help serve the bowls. Lin Xiru couldn't get off the bullock cart, so she asked Huang Jingli to buy something to eat. She was too embarrassed to go there with everyone to eat, and she didn't dare to eat elsewhere in case the bullock cart left and they could only walk back. Not only was it tiring, but it was impossible to find the way. The young men in the village were very proud of themselves, but what happened to the commune cotters? If they did something wrong, they would be punished. There is still room for reason in the world. When we came, we were unsure and very nervous. When we went back, we were happy. Seeing that it was a rare visit to the county town, we hurried to the supply and marketing cooperative to buy some daily necessities. On the way, everyone kept talking and joking, but no one paid attention to Lin Xiru and Huang Jingli. Carefully remember that most of the people who came here today are villagers. Maybe they are not just for He Tian Tian, but He Tian Tian also remembers the kindness of these people and will repay them if there is a chance in the future. Wang Lei and Zhang Qingshan also came together. If they couldn't sit down, Sister Wu and Ye Xiaofan would also follow. He Tian Tian also remembered these previous relationships. It was getting dark before we returned to the village. There are many people waiting at the entrance of the village, worried that something will happen to their husbands and sons and they will not be able to come back. Grandma Qi-san was also standing by the side with a cane, waiting anxiously. Liang Hongyu tried to persuade her from the side. Third aunt, don't worry, Dazu, my second uncle will follow you, nothing will happen to you. Hey, this girl Tian Tian is kind-hearted. Everyone sees how she treats me. It's just that I, a lonely old woman, can't help her. I can only be bullied, Grandma Qi-san said bitterly. Fortunately, we have Dazu and many good young people in our village, otherwise I don't know what I would do. We are all from the same village and should help each other. That Lin Xiru slanderer, I don't know who reported it to Dazu of our family. It is really shameful, Liang Hongyu said angrily. In recent years, Dazu has been working hard from dawn to dusk. Good things should be shared with everyone, and bad things can be handled by Dazu himself. But there are still people who make trouble, so let's not let others live well. Hongyu, is there really someone with bad conscience who reports Dazu? Another old woman asked in surprise. Everyone in the village obeyed Dazu, so they were very surprised when they heard Liang Hongyu's words. Yes, I just don't know who it is, Liang Hongyu said. If there is any dissatisfaction, or if our Dazu cannot be the village party secretary, we will step aside and let others do it, and we will not say a word. No, but it's nothing to keep shooting behind the scenes like this. Everyone accused the whistleblower, comforted Liang Hongyu, and praised Qi Dazu. It was not until the bullock cart appeared in front of everyone that everyone stopped. Everyone was back, and they felt relieved this time. After a busy day, Secretary Qi said a few words and asked everyone to go back and personally deliver old Qi to the livestock team. He Tian Tian originally wanted to send it off, but Secretary Qi refused and asked her to help Grandma Qi-san go home. As for Lin Xiru and Huang Jingli, they are not treated so well. Those women have no other skills but are very good at criticizing others. Even though Lin Xiru was thick-skinned, she was disgraced in the spit of these old ladies and wanted to run away. He Tian took a few steps quickly and stopped Lin Xiru. She stepped forward and slapped Lin Xiru with her big mouth. Her eyes were full of power. Lin Xiru, these 2 slaps will give you a long memory. Control your mouth in the future, don't bark randomly. There were many people at the entrance of the village who did not expect He Tian, who had always had a cute face, to be so powerful. However, they did not think that He Tian had done anything wrong. Who made Lin Xiru slander a little girl's innocence? No one else would be able to swallow this breath. Lin Xiru couldn't believe that He Tian would hit her. What she said in the commune was so good, but it turned out to be just farts. He Tian, don't bully others too much. Lin Xiru covered her face and looked at He Tian angrily. He Tian sneered and cursed in front of the big guys, who is bullying me too much? You secretly reported me. If what you said is true, that's it. You are talking nonsense and slandering people. If you do it again next time, it won't be as simple as a slap in the face. He Tian carried everyone on her back and looked at Lin Xiru coldly with squinted eyes. Lin Xiru took 2 steps back in fear, and seeing that no one helped her, she fled in panic. Seeing that He Tian had beaten him and vented her anger, Grandma Chi-san said, "Tian girl, let's go home. We won't bother with such a person." Everyone persuaded and comforted He Tian, and then dispersed. However, from then on, everyone knew that He Tian was not a docile little rabbit, but a spicy little pepper, and could not be provoked at will. After returning to their place of residence in the village, Huang Jingli and Lin Xiru hid in the house directly and did not dare to come out. Wang Lei and Zhang Qingshan came back and told Sister Wu and Ye Xiaofan what happened today in a vivid way. He Tian is fine. Zhou Sihai was dismissed and investigated. As for that person, he apologized on the spot. Wang Lei said, "It was not in vain today. I learned a huge secret." "What secret?" Sister Wu was curious. "Don't keep me in suspense. Tell me now." "Brother Wang Lei, if you don't tell me, I will." Zhang Qingshan couldn't help it. "You know, old man Qi from the animal husbandry team is not simple. He is a great hero who has made great contributions. General Qi has kind eyes and is polite to everyone he meets. I didn't expect him to be so powerful, did I?" Sister Wu and Ye Xiaofan were all stunned. The first update of the basics today. Please vote, please vote. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 120. Oh my god. Characters they had only heard about in movies or stories were actually right next to them. "I really didn't see it," Sister Wu murmured. "No wonder I think Kijia village is calmer than other places. It turns out it's this giant Buddha that controls it." "Yeah, I really didn't see it," Ye Xiaofan agreed. "Fortunately, we met old man Qi before." Wang Lei chuckled and said, "Don't be nervous, old heroes don't have to be so particular. We can just be the same as before, doing things with a normal heart and treating others with a normal heart. By the way, you Sister Wu and I have already written a report and went to the village to issue a certificate. There is nothing going on in the village now. We want to take a leave of absence to go back to our hometown to meet our parents and arrange the wedding." After Lin Xiru reported Hetianation-style issues, the 2 pairs were under pressure. Now that the relationship is stable, you can think about lifelong matters. They don't know when they can return to the city, but they can't stop getting married just because they don't return to the city. After hearing this, Zhang Qingshan looked at Ye Xiaofan and said, "We want to do this too. I will also apply for leave. We now have 2 houses. When we come back during the Chinese New Year and let Sister Wu move into the house we live in now, I will go directly to the small house wherever you live." Sister Wu, Ye Xiaofan's face turned red with embarrassment when he heard Zhang Qingshan's words, and said, "You said, let's go cook." Seeing the two people going out, Wang Lei chuckled and said, "Boy, I have an idea. In this case, you should write it today, and we will go to village chief Chi to do things together tomorrow. There is nothing to do in Kijia village now, and being idle is also idle. Let's after all, we are not young anymore. We men can still delay it for 2 years, but we women can't. You, Sister Wu, and Xiaofan are both good women, and we work together and have feelings. It's fate to be together." Haha, what Brother Wang said is true, and I completely agree with this. Zhang Qingshan said, "It's easy to buy tickets when we go back now, otherwise it will be difficult to buy tickets during the Chinese New Year." Sister Wu and Ye Xiaofan arrived in the kitchen, and they finally couldn't help but looked at each other and smiled. "Hey, the marriage is finally settled." Sister Wu smiled bitterly, "My mother always talks about this in her letters. Now that it's settled, maybe she won't worry anymore." "Both parents are like this," Ye Xiaofan said. "I have 3 younger brothers at home. Although my mother doesn't treat me as well as my younger brothers, she is not bad. We live in the same place and are not far apart. My parents will definitely agree. I'm just worried that my parents may not be able to do it this time if they ask for too many gifts. You are usually very thrifty and you should have saved a lot of money. We are too far away from home. As long as the man is good and can be with us, he is lucky if he is not far away from us. Zhang Qingshan is good, you can't miss it. If you are short of money, just tell us, and if we all work together, we can get through the difficulties," Sister Wu said comfortingly, patting Ye Xiaofan on the shoulder. "Yes, I will try my best." Ye Xiaofan nodded. "Let's talk about Lin Xiru in the yard." After coming back, he lay directly on the bed without saying a word. Even if Huang Jingli made rice, she wouldn't eat it. "I can't take a breath and it's stuck in my throat, it's so uncomfortable." His face was burning with pain. He Tian was small, but his hands were very strong. Lin Xiru, has never suffered such a big loss before. He Tian, Chi Xiao Yan, Chi Dazu. And that dead old man is still an old hero. This is what Lin Xiru is most afraid of. If everyone is an ordinary person, they can use wisdom and strategy to win, but if the opponent is much taller than you, then wisdom and strategy alone may not work. If she doesn't, then she can only rely on external help. But in this remote country, where could she get help from outside? Lin Xiru thought for a long time and thought of Zheng Hongjun, the commune who gave her a chance today. Maybe that's an opportunity? Oh, how pitiful. Lin Xiru sighed at the end, the future is still far away. What she is about to face is the hostility from all over the Kijia village. This time it was not a good deal, she lost both her wife and her troops. Lin Xiru looked grim for a while, frowned for a while, and sighed for a while. Huang Jingli, who was watching next to her, was very scared. She put the food in the room and didn't dare to stay in the room, so she went out. It wasn't until Lin Xiru fell asleep that Huang Jingli came in to sleep. Not only is his village's location being discussed, but the villagers are also discussing it. In the past, everyone respected Old Man Chi as a hero and thought he was an ordinary person, but they never expected that he turned out to be a great hero. Everyone is very excited, not to mention whether they will be able to take advantage of it in the future, but when they go out in the future, their backs will be harder than before. My second uncle is a hero. My second grandfather is a great hero. My second great-grandfather is a great hero. Old Man Chi didn't want to say it before because he didn't want to cause trouble. He had no children and just wanted to return to his roots and spend his old age in peace. Now that something like this happened, he was very heartbroken. If his identity can bring some protection to everyone, it doesn't matter if he is a little more troublesome. I used to live a life of licking blood from the edge of a knife, without worries. But after living with the same people in my hometown for so many years, I felt worried in my heart when I came. Alas, the reason why he left his cunning position and returned to his hometown was actually to take a look at her. Although he liked her when he was young. But at that time, he was a cowherd boy and she was the daughter of a landlord, so he could only watch her secretly from a distance. His parents went to the market and were killed by a rich man's son. He killed the rich man's son and avenged his parents, then left his hometown. He was penniless, so when he met her on the road, it was she who gave him a few ocean dollars to get him to pay for his expenses. Later, he joined the army, received the baptism of new ideas, and became a person who made contributions. When she returned to her hometown again, she had already put on a woman's bun and became his cousin's wife. He could still only look at her from a distance and couldn't get closer. When dreaming back at midnight, old man Chi sighed in his heart more than once. If nothing had happened to his parents and he hadn't killed the county magistrate's son, maybe he would have married her. During the anti-Japanese war, through organizational arrangements, he married a lesbian and soon had a child. But while covering everyone's evacuation, his wife and son died in the enemy's capture. At that time, he vowed to defeat the Japanese devils and drive the Japanese devils out. Even in the second update, there are 560 plus at 6 p.m, continue to ask for votes. I recently saw the comments in the book review section, thank you all for your attention. The plot and supporting characters here are all carefully designed by Chi. Some people say that the slap in the face is too light, and that it killed Chi Jiangguo and Zhou Hai. But killing requires a life, and it was impossible for He Tiantian to kill these two people without the help of the Snake King. There is a series of wonderful stories behind it, not just two supporting characters. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 121. Chapter 121 Blacklist, 560 plus. Later, his wish came true. The war of resistance against Japan was victorious, the war of liberation was victorious, and the war of resistance against US aggression and aid Korea was also victorious. He has a high position, but he doesn't like that life. So without any worries, I returned home. When I returned home again, I found out about her situation. The son is missing and the husband is dead. There was a ripple in my calm heart. Being able to watch her grow old in peace may also be a kind of happiness. Old man Chi shook his head and didn't think about it anymore. When people get old, as soon as they open their memories, everything from the past will emerge before their eyes. I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm quite tired today and need a good rest. Professor Gu and Professor Wang were also very sad. They were glad that they had met good people and could live peacefully in Kijia village from now on. Old Man Bai, Zoli, and Xiangrong were silent for a long time. It turns out that he is the one with all the pride and legend, Old Man Bai said with emotion. At that time, the country had just been founded and everything was waiting for improvement. Many people were placed in important positions. Only he chose to leave and left the circle of right and wrong. We all thought that he is already dead. I didn't expect him to live in seclusion in this peaceful Kijia village. Perhaps this is a man who is devoted to his country and indifferent to fame and wealth. Zolideo, we were all ordinary people before and grew up listening to his stories. Yeah, it's better to be famous than to be seen. I seem to know why we were sent here, Xiangrong said. This is because the superiors hope that the old hero Chi can protect us for a while. Maybe, Old Man Bai said, in the future, we must respect our second brother Chi even more and we must not neglect him. Zoli and Xiangrong smiled bitterly. They are all like this now, they are always polite to other people. How dare you neglect others? He Tiantian was lying on the bed, closing her eyes and relaxing. Overseas relations, He Tianation's biggest threat, have been resolved. As for other threats, they are no longer enough to give He Tiantian a fatal blow. Although Qi Jiangguo was not punished this time, Qi Jiangguo was put on the blacklist of village chief Qi, director Zhao, and old man Qi. From now on, not only will she be wary of Qi Jiangguo, but these people will too. What happened after that was very simple. She just had to stir up trouble between them and not make things easier for Qi Jiangguo. The journey was bumpy and miserable. However, He Tiantian didn't see Qi Jiangguo this time. Next time she sees him, she will definitely find a place where no one is around and give Qi Jiangguo a good beating to let him know how powerful he is. Shi Tiantian is not a softie, and she is not someone to be bullied. Gilu gilu me. He Tiantian muttered. She wanted to thank the Snake King. This time, thanks to the Snake King, He Tiantian was able to have the physical strength and energy to deal with these things. What are you doing if you don't sleep at night? The Snake King said angrily, disrupting its practice. There is no way, there is no spiritual energy in this dimension, so I can only rely on myself to practice. It will not work if I am not diligent. Seeing that the Snake King's tone was not kind, He Tiantian quickly flattered him and said, Snake King, thank you for your hard work. I will decide to go to the mountain tomorrow to see if I can get prey. You know, the villagers help me, and the little girl has nothing to repay, so she can only go. I'll find something in the mountains to repay everyone. Haha, the Snake King was unhappy. Isn't it my fault? Yes. Thank you for your hard work, King Snake, He Tiantian said with a smile. The misery in my previous life has changed. This is all due to King Snake. The little girl is very grateful. Let me eat more meat and contribute more. How about giving some blood to the Snake King? This is what you begged me for, not what I begged you for, the Snake King said proudly, as if only at this time could he show his noble status as the Snake King. He Tianation's head was like pounding garlic, and he said crisply, yes, yes, it's the little girl asking for the favor of the Snake King. The Snake King raised his proud head, quite proud of himself. Okay then, the Snake King finally relented. Is there anything else? If nothing happens, I'm going to practice. Xiao Tianzi sends my best wishes to the Snake King, He Tiantian said. I wish the Snake King will achieve great success in his cultivation as soon as possible. Hee hee. A burst of sideways laughter showed that the Snake King was in a good mood. He Tiantian convinced the Snake King as she wished, and she felt fine and fell asleep peacefully. During this period of time, He Tiantian was nervous and had not had a good rest. Now that I'm relaxed, when I wake up the next day, it's already past 9 o'clock, and the sun shines into the room, which is a bit dazzling. Seeing He Tiantian wake up, Grandma Qi-san quickly invited He Tiantian to eat. I've already eaten, this is reserved for you, Grandma Qi-san said. Thank you for your hard work these days. Haha, it's finally over, He Tiantian smiled and said, Grandma Qi, I will go to the back mountain later to see if there are any wild rabbits, pheasants, etc. If you are lucky, I will get a few more for you. Haha, don't go into the dense forest, just walk around at the foot of the mountain. It's winter now, and those are livestock and they lack food, Grandma Qi-san reminded. Besides, you go to the mountain alone, it's not safe, bring a few more people with you. He Tiantian nodded and said, okay. Uncle Zhou and Uncle Xiang, they probably won't be able to stay idle, so I'll convince them to go together. It's much safer if someone follows you, Grandma Qi-san smiled and looked at He Tiantian lovingly. After dinner, He Tiantian packed up her things and went to the animal husbandry team. Qi Xiaoyan has been waiting at the door for He Tiantian to pass by. It's really late today, so I should have slept in, Qi Xiaoyan complained. Qi Fangfang has been visiting relatives these days. I have to hurry up and study with Professor Wang while she is away. Only then did He Tiantian realize that she hadn't seen Qi Jiangguo, Qi Fangfang, or even Qi Shulai, the accountant, in the past few days. It turns out that they have already visited relatives in advance, and what happened in the village has nothing to do with them, at least on the surface. Really underestimated, Qi Jiangguo, Qi Shulai. He Tian pursed her lips and smiled, took Qi Xiao Yan's arm and said, "Okay, let's hurry up. You study hard with Professor Wang. I'll ask Uncle Zhou and Uncle Xiang to go to the mountains to catch some game and feed it to you, replenish your body." "That's okay, I miss the dried pheasant meat, it's so delicious," Qi Xiao Yan said and ordered what she liked. "This is my good sister, so this requirement can still be met." There were many people in the livestock team, and everyone was cutting fodder in the yard, talking and laughing. When Aunt Lu heard that He Tian was going to the back mountain, she was very happy and said, "The livestock team only needs to do this, we can do it." "Sweet girl, go ahead, it's up to you whether Auntie can eat meat today." "Hey. Then I'll do my best." He Tian smiled. "Uncle Zhou, Uncle Xiang, are you going?" In fact, with the Snake King here, He Tian should be able to handle it as long as he takes a sickle. But today He Tian not only wants to get a hare or a pheasant, but also a big wild boar. If He Tian was alone, no one else would believe that he had such an ability. He brought Xiang Rong and Zhou Li with him, saying that it was 3 people together. With them supporting him from the front, no one would doubt it. Monthly pass is 560 plus. Keep asking for votes, the story will be more exciting later. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 122. Xiangrong and Zhou Li looked at each other and looked at the old man Bai with interest. "Haha, go ahead," old man Bai said, "I hope you won't return without success." "Yes." Xiangrong took a polished hatchet, and Zhou Li took a sickle. The 3 of them were all carrying bamboo baskets, and they might be able to pick up some food when they got to the mountain. "Sweet girl, I have always found that you are lucky. In the past, when you went to mow the grass with us, you could often catch pheasants and rabbits. But when we mow the grass alone or with Sister Lu, it is not so good." "Luck," Zhou Li said, "this is what he concluded." He Tian smiled, patting her face without blushing, and said, "Haha, my parents said that I have always been very lucky, and I will also bring good luck to the people around me." The Snake King in the barrier was taking a break while practicing and heard He Tian's shameless words. Even more bragging than him. He didn't want to listen to this woman's nonsense, so he should continue practicing. "Haha, you're right, you are lucky, and you bring good luck to the people around you." Xiangrong smiled, "Let's see if you can bring us good luck this time. Let's go over there. There are some big pine trees where you can beat pine nuts." He Tian walked up and led the way. That was what the Snake King told her before, and she always remembered it. Along the way, He Tian was not idle. When she met a place with pine trees, she hit some pine nuts. Pine nuts are much more delicious than sunflower seeds, and they have a high oil content, which is a great tonic. Just after each person picked up half a basket of pine nuts, He Tian suddenly felt the ground moving under his feet. He Tian was like the masters on TV. He quickly lay down on the ground and listened. The sound was getting louder and louder. It was coming from this way. She could only hear a lot of feet, but she couldn't tell what they were. "What's wrong, sweet girl?" Zhou Li asked. At this moment, Xiangrong put his hand to his mouth, then lay on the ground and listened. His eyes lit up and he said, "It sounds like a wild boar." He Tian was startled and quickly called the Snake King, "Gilu gilu me, gilu gilu me." "Just one shout is enough, no need to shout so many times," the Snake King said angrily, almost going crazy from the shock of this stupid woman. "Wild boar, wild boar." He Tian stammered and repeated. Her small body couldn't resist the wild boar. "Idiot, isn't there me, the king? It's embarrassing for you to be so scared." "Okay," the Snake King said in disgust. "Then what should I do now?" He Tian was embarrassed, making the Snake King laugh. "Those are 2 wild boars coming this way. If you are afraid, you can climb up the tree." Then I will use magic to slow down the wild boars and let those two people take action, the Snake King said lightly. Such a simple thing, this woman just can't think of anything, she has to count on it for everything. If he returns to the demon world and is so stupid after having a daughter, it will definitely not admit that it is its seed. Unconsciously, the Snake King already regarded He Tian Tian as one of his own. From this point of view, even the most indifferent people or animals can develop some feelings as long as they get along with each other sincerely. He Tian Tian didn't care about running away, and said while climbing the tree, I heard that those are two wild boars. I have thin arms and legs, so I won't cause any trouble to you. Standing on the left, Xiang Rong couldn't help laughing when he heard He Tianatian's words. But this is better. He Tian Tian is here, and they still feel that it is in the way. Well, take care of yourself, Xiang Rong said, holding a sickle and standing back to back with Zhou Li. After a while, I saw two wild boars coming this way. Ha ha, Zhou Li laughed, sweet girl, you are really lucky, you have brought us good luck too. Xiang Rong was also very happy. The two big wild boars had gained a lot today. The two wild boars also saw the people here and thought they were animals weaker than them, so they swaggered over and tried to knock Zhou Li and Xiang Rong down. The wild boar is big, but moves very quickly, and it just runs over here with its head down. The two pigs marched together menacingly and looked quite scary. Snake King, hurry up, He Tian Tian reminded, really worried that the two old men under the tree would be gored by the wild boar. By that time, not only was the meat eaten, people were seriously injured, and the gain outweighed the loss. Standing on the left, Xiang Rong dodged left and right. The two wild boars flew into the air and hit the tree that He Tian Tian climbed up. The tree, which was not thick in the first place, was a little tilted after He Tian Tian climbed the mountain. Now it was bumped by these two wild boars. It was so dizzy that he couldn't hold it with both hands. There was a loud pop and He Tian Tian fell from the tree. Oh my mother! Stars are popping up before my eyes, my waist is about to break. He Tian Tian couldn't care less about the pain, there were two wild boars not far away. Get up and run away. The two wild boars were frightened by the heavy object that suddenly fell from the tree. They took several steps back and did not catch up immediately. After He Tian Tian ran away for several meters, the two wild boars also reacted. Oops, this one is thinner and easier to bully than the two before. Chase. He Tian Tian heard the sound and knew that the two big wild boars were chasing behind her, and her heart was about to jump out. Help, help, He Tian Tian shouted as she ran. Zhou Li and Xiang Rong were behind with wry smiles on their faces. They were all ready to have a fight with the big wild boar, but they didn't expect He Tian Tian to fall from the tree. Hurry up and save him, Zhou Li was worried. How could a little girl beat two big wild boars? Xiang Rong smiled, pointed at He Tian Tian in front of him and said, look at He Tian Tian running so fast. Even the two wild boars can't catch up, let alone us. Zhou Li took a closer look and saw that it was indeed the case. He was so anxious that he shouted, this way, run this way. It's just that He Tian Tian ran too fast, and the two big wild boars behind her squealed excitedly, so she couldn't hear Zhou Li and Xiang Rong's voices at all. The Snake King was in the barrier, looking at He Tian Tian running away, laughing loudly, it was so fun, let her run for a while, just think of it as exercise. Gilug, Gilug, Snake King, help me, He Tian Tian said that she was out of trouble, and she didn't care to say it in her heart. Haha, it's okay, the wild boar can't catch you, the Snake King said sarcastically and looked at He Tian Tian outside with interest. Snake King, you don't keep your word, He Tian Tian said angrily. She understood the Snake King's bad taste, didn't he just want to see her run away? Boring. So boring. But soon He Tian Tian had no time to be angry. The big wild boar seemed to be going crazy and sped up to catch up. He Tian Tian could only speed up, running aimlessly on the mountain, running.